has to start from the very, very beginning. That means you have to look at re-educating our populace. You have to go to schools. We have to even go to churches, to the markets. We have to take this as our responsibilities. You cannot have your living room tidy and go about indiscriminately throwing waste on the road. So if we start teaching children, if we start teaching even our headers, for those of us who are advocates of a cleaner environment, advocate of climate change, if we start teaching these people to see their environment, to see the world as they will see their living room, as for those of them that are clean anyways, I think they will really want to take this seriously, because there is no other earth to run to. By the time we are done with this one, we all would be stuck in this one. So we have to fix it. We have to fix it. It's our responsibility to have it done. So planting trees, nurturing our green lungs. You see, we need plants as much as they need us. In fact, we need them for our survival. We need them more than they need us. Trees are the lungs of the earth. The earth need to breathe. Just like imagine smoking cigarettes, all those smokers anyways. Imagine the damage they're causing to their lungs. Now look at the earth as one big human being with lungs as well. And these indiscriminate wastes, deforestation, bush burning, burning of waste in open spaces, they are also causing damages to the earth. They are affecting the lungs of the earth. So trees are synonymous to that. Trees are the lungs of the earth. And in Nigeria, we have witnessed the loss of vast forest areas due to the deforestation and urbanization. You see, if you go to for some of us right now, if we go to our villages, we'll get to know that our villages are expanding and developing by the minute. So the trees you used to see there, they're no longer there. Houses have taken over. Even the loss of trees right now is causing some what's it called? It's causing some animals to go into extinction. Some birds we cannot find anymore. Some animals we cannot find. There are some trees that attract these animals. When these trees are no longer there, these animals actually go into extinction. Are we there?
Yes, we are. We're here with you.
All right. So by planting and protecting trees, okay, let's think of trees as the oxygen mask for our planet. So by planting and protecting trees, we not only mitigate climate change, but also improve air quality, conserve water, and provide habitats for biodiversity. Initiatives such as afforestation and reforestation can be compared to nurturing of our green lungs to ensure a healthier and sustainable future. So let us take this as our responsibility to plant trees, to nurture trees, and to, pass this message to anybody we can come across, and tell them how important trees. In fact, for me personally, when I see people felling down trees, it affects me. It's like you're cutting a part of my body away. I can't stand it. I really cannot stand it. I'm so passionate about trees that I have some in my own compound. And imagine how scorching the sun might be sometimes. You're walking. If you even walk down GRA, there's some areas in GRA you walk down in the afternoon, you would feel this coolness, you feel this coolness around you.
Sorry, please, you can share your screen now.
I can. All right. Okay. Almost done though. But, can you see my screen? Can you see my screen, please?
Yes.
All right, good. Hold on. Please give me a minute. Let me.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So trees, like I said, are the lungs of the earth, and in Nigeria, we have witnessed the loss of vast forest areas due to deforestation and urbanization. So let's take it as a responsibility, our responsibility, to not just plant trees, but to nurture trees, to see that they grow and blossom to the very, 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 very peak and top, because we need them for our survival. We need trees for the survival of the earth. We need trees for the survival of mankind. Conservation of water, preserving our life source. Water is essential for our survival, just like personal hygiene is vital for our well-being. So when we engage in indiscriminate cutting down of trees, when we involve ourselves in polluting the environment, it results to. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So Nigeria faces challenges such as water scarcity, pollution, and inefficient usage. By adopting water-saving practices, preventing water pollution, and implementing efficient irrigation techniques, we can ensure the availability of clean water for future generations. An individual approach to conserving water can have a collective impact on our environment. Can have a collective impact on our environment. Water is essential for the survival of mankind. And when we, like I was saying before, when we involve in deforestation, we see that a huge waterland would automatically just go dry. We see areas that we've seen rivers go dry. And we see the effect that this can cause in our society. So we need to protect the earth. We need to be conscious about our environment. We need to see the earth in general as we see ourselves. Renewable energy powering our sustainable future. In Nigeria, our heavy reliance on fossil fuels contributes to environmental degradation and climate change. There's some parts of Nigeria right now where oil is being produced. These communities lack good and drinkable water due to oil spillage and all that, and it has affected their way of life, especially those communities that depend on fishing. Like they have fishermen and fisherwomen. These communities depend on farming. So when they, as a nation, when we get involved in energy like fossil forests that are not renewable, and sometimes these forests even spill to the environment around them, it affects the way of life of those people around. So we can begin to think about transitioning from fossil fuel to other kinds of energy energy generation techniques like solar system, that this even developed countries like the USA, Germany, and all that, they are all moving from using oil-enabled vehicles to electrical cars and all. So by embracing solar, wind, and hydroelectric power, we can reduce greenhouse gas emissions, improve air quality, and promote energy independence. Investing in renewable energy infrastructure and supporting clean energy initiatives will lead us toward a greener and healthier Nigeria. I don't think in this country, I don't think we've even started having this conversation. We still depend heavily on fossil fuels. We're not ready to have this conversation. That's why um, climate change advocate groups need to come together as a collective body to influence our lawmakers, our leaders, right from the local level, and see how we can gradually. I say gradually because it's like Nigeria depend too heavily on for its revenue generation on fossil fuel. So convincing our leaders to see things from our perspective, from the earth perspective, that says the earth needs to survive, and our actions as human beings is actually affecting the earth, is losing breath, and we need to save it. And by that, we need to push for policies. We need to influence, we need to advocate, we need to promote initiatives and have those whom we have elected into offices and have them be our spokesperson. But first, they need them themselves in convince. And even if I think this past elections, presidential election in Nigeria, climate change was one of the topic of interest. And we have the presidential aspirants then throw light on what they intended to do in fighting or mitigating the effects of climate change. And we are not ready to deal with the issue if we are not talking about transitioning from fossil fuel to other forms of renewable energy in the country. So in conclusion, I started my presentation by drawing an analogy between the human body and the earth. I told us that we can see the earth as a human as we see ourselves. We need to stay clean to stay healthy. We need some hygienic practices that we have to undergo on a daily basis for us to keep our health. Like I said, during the COVID-19 pandemic, we are made to understand the importance of always washing our hands. So just as we care for ourselves, we ought to also care for the earth. We ought to also care for the earth. We have to be conscious about how we treat our waste. We have to hold on. Okay, thank you. So we have to plant trees. We have to conserve our water. We have to embrace renewable energy, and this is not something we are going to achieve overnight. So for us to attain success, we have to look at educating the populace, starting from our local communities. We have to use community-based approach to solve our environmental issues. We have to let people understand that their environment is just as their living parlors. The environment is just as their living rooms. They cannot leave their houses, their apartments by leaving their apartment by indiscriminately throwing waste about their living rooms. They can't leave dishes undone for weeks or months. They won't be able to stay. So if they start seeing the environment as their own living room, if they start seeing the earth as a person, the earth needs trees, and trees are just like the lungs of the earth. The earth needs trees to survive. So if we can make people see the world, see society, see the earth, see our environment as we see ourselves as a people, we need to care for ourselves. We also need to care for the world. Let's remember that each individual action counts and that together we have the power to create a positive impact on our environment. So as climate change enthusiasts, as ambassadors of climate change, we have to go into the world. We have to go to schools, we have to go to churches, to mosques, as the case may be. We have to talk to our leaders for them to take a much more intentional approach towards mitigating the effect of climate change. And we all together, we can achieve a better, a greener, sustainable future for generations to come. Thank you. Do we have any questions? I'm done with my slide.
Thank you so much. I think I learned a lot. When we talk about fossil fuels, what are we talking about? Are we talking about things like crude oil, like coal, or what exactly are we talking about?
Okay, fossil fuels are natural resources that are formed from the remains of ancient plants and animals over millions of years ago. So these fuels, which include coal, oil, and natural gas, are called fossil fuel. Did you get that? So fossil fuels, I said fossil fuels are,
I did.
okay,
I
all right,
got it.
all right. Okay then.
Okay.
So
Thank you so much. I personally have learned a lot. I don't know about any other person, but
you're
you have
welcome.
really opened my eyes, and your analogy about looking at the earth like a human being, it actually
Yes.
helped. I remembered when they started implementing this no waste strategy in Lagos, and lots of people were arrested for throwing waste on the road. And I think, in fact, it did a marvelous job helping to clean Lagos up. And I think we're going to need drastic measures like that all over if we're going to actually talk about this waste management properly. That is one thing that will be able to help us and move forward if we actually do take it seriously. You know, in Nigeria, yeah, we tend to ignore anything that doesn't have punishment with it. So I just want to say thank you for coming to talk with us and educating us. It has been a very interesting time with you.
Yeah, you're welcome. I think it is more or less like a cultural, like should I say, a normalized habit. You know, when you do something for some time, it becomes a norm. You can see people throwing trash from their vehicles, moving vehicles, and hardly would you see anybody reacting to that because we've come to accept it as what is normal in Nigeria. So why complain? So that's why I said for us to really change things, we have to catch them young. We have to catch them
Yeah.
young. We have to create a kind of society through proper climate education initiatives, climate change education initiatives to children, to society at large, for them to see, for them to perceive the world, the earth as they would perceive themselves. So they will not want to bring harm to their bodies.
Thank you so
So as well, they shouldn't.
Educated Degree Cohort 3 is really, really glad to have listened to you today, and we hope to work with you more as our program progresses. And on that note, we're inviting you to listen in on our second webinar that is taking place on by 9 tonight. If you have chance, you could just zoom in and listen to us. We'll be talking about food, hunger, and poverty and the effects on the Nigerian education system.
By what time?
By 9.
All right. I'll be glad
Okay.
to attend.
No problem. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Do have a nice night.
Okay, you too. Oh, thank you everyone for coming. Favor, Sonia, Solani. It was nice having you here. We'll meet again by 9. Anybody here?